But that is it for the sprint. 26 laps of the main race now awaiting us. An expected medium hard or hard medium strategy. Real DC with a little bit of catching up to do, spinning because of the lag from Barry Kruger, so this is really unfortunate if the lag continues. And I've just been alerted that at the end of this race there will be a little bit of rain, but we've got five lights. Out and away we go for Ero Ps F4, the Silverstone Grand Prix, the 9th round of the season. Barry Kruger with a very good start. Rumanek up into P2. He already started P2. Jack Bailey and Crackshot going side by side. Is there action in the back of the field? Of course there is. Who is it losing the car? That doesn't actually appear to be anyone. Fabrizio playing it very, very safe. We've got a spinner though, unfortunately, it's Elliot Parker. Just not his day. And Champ Hansen, those two are not going to be enjoying themselves too much. We've got someone falling down the back of the field. It's Jack Bailey. It may have been in contact there with Crackshaw. It's a bit of a weird place to spin. That's really unfortunate for the Ferrari driver. Fabrizio playing it very safely. As we have another spinner, it's Max Nagel this time. And it looks like I should have my work cut out, don't I? Oh, it's not fabulous. That is not fabulous at all. Rominski on the back of Barry Kruger, whose internet looks a little bit better actually. Yeah, it actually looks better. Okay, that's good to see. Boyman being overtaken by Real DC, and there's contact. Boyman going for a little bit of the spin that baby reported. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. I'm going to show the tyres now. Back Kruger on the mediums, followed by Crackshot, Kiziak, Blackwolf, and Lee Webb. Also Fabrizio going at the back. Champ Hansen starting on the softs. Obviously, he wanted to start with a bit of a bang. That's not going to happen. Everyone else on the hard compound of tyre. Who are you race engineering? Oh, you're race engineering Ennis, obviously. My apologies. Barry Kruger not quite getting the launch he would have wanted. Rumanek very, very close. And Rumanek seems like a man possessed after the first quarter of this championship. He has been relentless. And it looks like he's going to get a very good points paying position here again today. Jack Bailey at the back of the field. Hopefully will recover the car at some point. Got an overtake for P7. Lee Webb making the move on Blackwolf. Blackwolf found it a little bit wide. But Gary makes it stick. We got another yellow flag, and this time it's for Blackwolf once again. Actually losing control of the car. I don't think there was contact involved. Just lost it on traction. It's really unfortunate, nevertheless. Back to the front of the field. The Real DC already up to P4, but now it's a waiting game. Well, not a waiting game. It's a game of patience. Having to catch up to the front pack. It's doable, but can DC do it? That's a different question. Now that sounded so insulting. I did not mean that. It sounds mean. I meant something completely different vibe. We've got a spinner in the back of the field, and it's Champ Hansen, and once again, I hope he doesn't have rear damage for the second time now. That is the type of place where you'd spin if you had rear damage. Lee Webb going for a move on Adrian Garucki. Adrian Garucki leaving a lot of space, an ultimate gentleman, going side by side into the foul corner. But Gary keeps the position for now. Battling a very, very good battle. And Barry Kruger now pulling away from Rumanek. As Hansen gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane. Retiring from the session, I have a feeling that was rear wing damage. Once again, that's really unfortunate for the man who got a podium in his last race. Yep, if you didn't catch it, the steward's decisions gave Real DC a 5-second penalty for crossing the pit lane. DC did not opt to report an incident with Hansen. So Hansen somehow got a podium, but he's not going to get a podium today. He's not going to get a point today. Really unfortunate for the Norwegian. Barry Kruger is now out of DRS range of Ruminek. Is going to make Real DC shot very hard. It's going to push enough victory maybe on the cards. But then we said that last week in Baku. And what happened? Barry Kruger miles out in the lead and he spins. He loses the front tyre at turn 3 of Baku. And all of a sudden, the guaranteed 27 points become a guaranteed 0 points. And there's been an overtake somewhere, I don't actually know where, which I think it's James Sully and Fabrizio Troncoso. Troncoso making the move stick. Now there's a nice little train forming. DC at the front of it, Kiziak in the medium compound behind. Very close, but not able to make the overtake as of yet. And then Lee Webb trying to catch up on his set of mediums. Ennis just behind after having his roast dinner. And Barry is actually falling back into the clutches of Crackshot. I'm not entirely sure what happened, but I'm guessing he made a mistake at some point. He was going a little bit slowly. Can Crackshot get the DRS and work his way back up? Oh, he made the overtake on Ruminek. That's what happened. Okay, I see. And if I can go for a move on Mark Stenagel. Ooh, it's looking a little bit tight. A little bit tight. So Elliot Parker can't make the move stick. Looks like he's going to go for another move into Cops though. It's going to be tight. Yeah, he pulls out of it, thankfully. And then, okay, well that's a penalty, isn't it? That just is a penalty. We've got a spinner, and it's Real DC. No! Real DC was P4, now P11. I almost have to hope that was a spin on his own tuition, otherwise my work as a student again cut out. I'm so sorry for being tired. I only got 2 hours of sleep. And I only didn't sleep for 40 hours before that, so I think it's understandable that I might be a little bit tired. Barry Kruger. His lead diminished. Crackshot pushing. And these two look like they're going to go for a scrap once again. Ruminek in the shadows. I think the podium may already be confirmed. These three are just, as they say in some parts of London, it's different gravy. These three are different gravy. Kiziak is just gravy, but these guys, oh my god. Oh, I'm tired. If anyone wants to complain, they can take over. Real DC with 3 seconds time penalty. That is not going to help his race winning chances here. Cutting another corner. I think that might have been another cut. And this race has just been disastrous from DC. He knows he has the pace. He was on pole position. And by a fair margin as Ero Black Wolf gets a brings own time play with the time penalty. And Crackshot as well. I must have missed it. Also with his own time penalty. This is looking very, very feisty. 3 seconds time penalty. The winners from the start of this race is going to be Shawnee, Ennis and Lee Webb making up 6 and 9 positions. Fabrizio as well into the top 10 after starting P17. Very good overtakes by them. When you get a flag in sector 1, who is it for? I'm not entirely sure. Trying to work that out now. It may be for Boyman. I'm not sure. DC overtake or catching up to Sunny rather. My apologies. I think it was Adrian Gurucki down into P11 now. I think that was the mistake. But a good recovery. There's an overtake for the leaders race. Crackshot to the outside of Barry, but he's not going to make the move stick until well, okay, well, this overtake obviously can't happen. Crackshot having to have bought the move after going incredibly wide, but this shows Barry Kruger is vulnerable. And we are battling to the end of the race. Crackshot and Barry Kruger on the same strategy of tyres. Kiziek making a little bit of a mistake. Lee Webb getting the overtake done on the mediums, and another good points paying position for Lee Webb is on the cards. If you remember in Baku, he got P4 after shooting. Decisions nearly a podium. I'm so tired. Well, as James Hunt would do, I'm going to open up a can of alcohol. As James Hunt would do, I'm going to open up a can of alcohol. Because that is how you get through a race. I'm not going to insult anyone. I do that enough, really. I do that without alcohol. Make a hobby out of it, really. But look at the gap between the top three. This kind of reminds me of CRL Season 7 Silverstone, where I was on the mediums, Marty and Leo were on the hards. And we just ran away from the rest of the pack. But is Crackshot going to go for a dive into Stowe? No, he thinks better about it. But is he going to get a run on the foul? No, he definitely doesn't. Ruminek, very, very good pace here. Ruminek must be very happy with himself. We've got an overtake in the middle of the pack. It's suddenly being overtaken by Real DC. Elliot Parker into the wall. That could be a safety car. No, he recovers the car, but I'll be surprised if there isn't damage. There isn't damage. Okay, fair. It's a big old clatter with the wall, but no damage. That makes sense. But yeah, if you're Ruminek, you have to think now that you're in a golden position here. The medium runners aren't breaking away from you. You're going to pit, yeah, a few laps after them, but you're on the medium compound tyres. You should be able to overtake and then be fine. Only thing I would say is that if I'm Ruminsky, I'm going to pit when the medium runners pit. You need to seize the opportunity as soon as it comes to break away. He has a good pace, but how much of that is DRS dependent, we don't know. But fortunately, he has a 6.5 second buffer to the car behind. So he can play it, the risks get a lot safer in this circumstances. Mark and Jack make a little bit of contact. Mark having to pull out of an overtake or a defensive manoeuvre. Not Jack's fault. Mark just a little bit of a tap. Crackshot going for another move to the inside of Stowe. He's going to have the move done before the corner, but is Barry going to go for a switch back? I imagine he will. Actually, no, he thinks better of it. Oh, no, no, he's using the ERS to the inside of foul. It's going to be a little bit of a dive bomb contact nearly happening. Oh, he's lost control of the car ever so slightly, and Ruminek into P2, Barry Kruger, losing the position. There we go, the flag for fifth. He's gone wide, and that was that was quite dangerous. Yeah, that was dangerous. That bit wasn't dangerous. I think he could do that, but the rest of it was dangerous. Real DC breaking away from James Sully, catching up to Fabrizio Troncoso. It's quite startling that Fabrizio. Last season he was in F3. And he was last every race, but he cracked on. He really did crack on. This season we put him in F5, and he wins the race in his home Grand Prix. And now he's in F4, and he's defending from a CRL Tier 2 runner-up. Someone who beat me last season. This is impressive stuff, and Ruminsky is looking for the overtake with the DRS. On similar levels of ERS for the front three. Ruminsky to the inside, and he's going to get this move done long before the corner. Unless Crackshot is brave with it into foul. We saw Kruger do it. Is Crackshot going to do it? Let's see. What a terrible camera angle. No, he doesn't. Ruminsky now into the lead of this race as DC makes the overtake on Fabrizio Troncoso with the DRS on the hanger straight. And Adrian Garucki makes an overtake on Sully, who I suspect may have some damage. Doesn't look like it, but it could be a possibility. DC Duo has to break away from Fabrizio Troncoso. Catching up to NS, who's 4.5 seconds behind a man on the mission, but he has a 3-second time penalty, so make that 7.5 seconds. So it's a struggle. It is a struggle. And when you look at the gap to the leader, he is 13.5 seconds behind. With a penalty, make that 16.5 seconds. It is going to be very tight. However, I have a hunch the DC can still salvage a really good result from this evening's affairs. Weaving a little bit, but Crackshot simply doesn't have the pace. Having medium tyres already run out of road. It's going to be interesting to see. Boyman picking up a 3-second time penalty from P13, and Crackshot is the first driver into the pit lane to go onto the hard compound tyres. I think maybe a little bit too early. I'm not entirely sure, but that will hopefully save Rowinski as well, because he is broken the DRS to Barry Kruger. Mark Nagel being overtaken by Boyman on the hanger straight. Lovely, lovely work. We're going to see just how long this pit lane is. Crackshot was about 13 seconds ahead of DC. He's already been overtaken and he's only just got into the pit lane. He may come out behind. He may come out behind fifth show, in fact. He's going to have a lot of work to do on these hard compounder tyres. I think he's actually going to come out behind Black Wolf as well, which is shocking. Really, really shocking. But Crackshot now. Some open road, people that may also be pitting. Hopefully this isn't going to hold him up too much and ruin the championship battle. Or no, not championship battle, but ruin this battle for the win. Crackshot, the other man, to receive a penalty for crossing the pit lane. What line is Elliot Parker gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and I have a feeling that's going to be the end of his race. Unless he commits to it with his commendable. Rominski not quite breaking the DRS to Barry Kruger, but he's staying out. And he's not under threat of an overtake. Is Barry going to go for the pit? No, he's not. Barry thinks the medium tyres are a bit to go on. You can probably see on the mini-map that Crackshot is going to have to overtake some cars in a bit. And if you can wait just a little bit longer, you shouldn't lose too much from that. Going wide, Rominski's flashing now. He's pushing with all of his DRS. Blue flags, blue flags. Eddie Parker's spinning well in front of Ennis. Not entirely sure what happened there, but he's lost control of the car. Coming out in front of a Mercedes driver, and hopefully the blue flags don't happen again. Or he is driving inside Sully. I mean, okay, Elliot. Jack Bailey in the next up to go for an overtake. I am showing Ero Ps. Barry Kruger into the pit lane. What's it going to be? Going for an overtake of Jack Bailey now is Elliot Parker. Barry Kruger obviously is going to pit onto the hard compound tyres. Rominski will be coming in shortly, you have to assume as well, as Jack Bailey has disconnected from the session. No! Let me see if I can very quickly. I'm going to invite the group again. Hopefully that works for Jack. Barry Kruger. When is he? Where is he going to come out? Is it going to be ahead of or behind Crackshot, who is currently stuck behind the Red Bull or Black Wolf, and it looks very much like Barry Kruger has got the jump on Crackshot, and not just by a little bit, but by quite a margin. As that's a pit lane cut. That is a pit lane cut. That is undeniably a pit lane cut. Jack Bailey's back in the session. If anyone wants to report that, be my guest. And Elliot Parker, what is going on here? Okay, so he's overtaken Jack or Sully now. I don't know if there are blue flags. Blue flags unfortunately don't show up like yellow flags in this game. But this is not looking great. He's powering on through. He's going to get the DRS. Oh no, he spun it once more. Rear wing damage for Elliot Parker. Sitting on the track. Yeah, I'd be amazed if that's not rear wing damage. He's retired on track now. So that's... I believe that means that for round 10 he is going to have a race ban, unfortunately. As Black Wolf nearly loses control of the car. And comes straight into the pit lane. I expect Black Wolf to also retire from the session. It's not been a great showing. Lee Webber in the pit lane comes out. He will be behind Crackshot, but by how much? He stayed out an awfully long time. And now Black Wolf stays out actually. There's a yellow flag in sector 1 and it's Black Wolf spinning. Our tyres not off to a great start. Riminski staying out once more. I really do think it's in his best interest to pit as soon as possible. CC is coming into pit on the hard tyres into the mediums. Riminski may be thinking that a light safety car will help him. And while that is possibly true, I think he's more in control of this race than he realises. What's it going to be? It's a medium. What's it going to be? Of course it's a medium. What other compound would it possibly be? So you get a flag. It's a fifth Geo spinning out in Luffield or Woodcote, one of them. Is it Woodcote? Luffield into Woodcote, isn't it? Yeah, Woodcote. Fifth Geo spinning, going down, or dropping down to P13, and Lee Webb has actually lost a second to Crackshot. And Crackshot is now hot on the back of Barry Kruger. And it's a bit of a quiet race here. 9 seconds behind Riminski. Riminski staying out another lap for some unforeseen reason. Someone into the pit lane, it's James Sully. As Barry Kruger is looking vulnerable here to Crackshot, and if Crackshot is to battle Kruger, that will really help Riminski on the way to securing this win, but I really do think he needs to be pitting quite soon if he's going to be able to make this work. What is the gap for leaders? So It's around about a 30-second pit stop, and Barrett Kruger is 28.8 seconds behind. I do suspect that if Ruminek wants to pit, he would come out P3, provisionally, of course. But it's going to be tight. He's using a little bit of ERS here. I think he's going to come in at the end of this lap onto the medium compound of tyres, and it's going to be really interesting to see where he comes out in comparison to the guys he was once battling. Is he coming into pit lane? No, he stays out another lap. Is he going on for the soft compound? Or, actually, and I have to thank Crackshot for this, there was a reminder about rain, and the skies of Britain are looking a little bit gloomy today, just like in real life. Could Ruminek be going all the way to the rain, to the wet period? It would be a very bad strategy, but I could see it working out as Kiziek pits. He's been on the mediums the entire time. Wow, Kiziek taking the medium compound of tyres. 16 laps, so obviously they cannot go any further onto a set of the hard compound. I would have maybe considered the soft compound myself, but that's all good. As a real DC, so that's the fastest lap of this race, but he is going to be stuck behind Fifcho in New Web relatively soon. It's going to scamper his chances a little bit. A lot of people staying out, they're waiting for the rain. This is a factor of the race I hadn't considered. The top 7 haven't pitted yet. And while the gap is sparse, there's a chance, there's a genuine chance here that these guys might have struck gold. Because it's not looking wet yet, admittedly, but it is looking like it could be wet soon, like in 5 minutes time. But and can these drivers take their tyres that far? Ruminek obviously thinks he can take them to the end, and he's not really losing time to Barry and Crackshot even on these old hards, so why not? He can pit onto the softs as the rain doesn't come. He's in a very good position either way, and I do think I'm going to be interviewing Ruminek. Although I don't think Ruminek will join the interview, so maybe I'm not interviewing Ruminek. Who knows who I'm interviewing? But Barry and Crackshot are catching up to the gaggle of cars ahead, starting with Fabrizio. These are the trailblazers, the bold drivers, who may have copped an incredible strategy if this works out. You remember Jack, Boyman, Mark all spinning at certain points of the Grand Prix. Adrian Goricki probably at some point as well, although he's going for a switchback on Fabrizio. He has to slow down, nearly colliding. He's going to get the DRS though. Can he make a move into Brooklands? I think he's a little bit too far back. The momentum scampered. And Crackshot wants to make this overtake. He has to make it now. Get ahead of Barry. Maybe he thinks the 3 seconds is reportable. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. But Barry's going to get the DRS very, very soon. In fact, he might have already got it. So Crackshot, is he pushing? Not using the ERS, but he's playing it sensible. He doesn't want to start flashing already. Pretending to go for a move into cops. Not going to work, obviously, but just putting seeds of doubt in Barry's mind. 1.8 is the gap between Barry and Mark Stenagel. Crackshot has the DRS. Can he make this attempt that works? He started using the DRS, not quite all the way. Adrian Goricki making the overtake on Fabrizio. And Jack Bailey also going through Fabrizio, playing the team game a little bit. And nearly into the pits is Fabrizio. But he stays out a little bit more. These mediums must be in puncture territory very soon. He is going slowly. He's going very slowly. But the rain is falling in Silverstone. And it looks like Raminsky, Ennis, Gary, JD, Trunk, Women and Mark have struck gold here on this strategy. Trunk just needs a puncture not to happen though. Looking up is not going to help. I can only imagine how bad the tyre wear is now. Crackshot. Yeah, Kruger is going to get the DRS on Mark, so Crackshot can't make the overtake stick now. And Crackshot, a potential podium, looking like it could end up being short of a points-paying position now. Tronk going very, very slowly. Barry stuck behind. Crackshot is going to have to be careful here not to make contact. Same for Kruger, But he's going to go for the switchback, and Barry's making contact with Fabrizio, and he spun Fabrizio around, and that's a guaranteed penalty. Kruger with wing damage, and that is all but eliminated Kruger's chances of a podium here today. Crackshot finally getting past, building a little bit of a gap to Kruger, but I would be amazed if that isn't reported. It was absolutely Kruger's fault. There's no denying that. The only thing that would deny it is internet, but internet isn't a valid reasoning. There's F4 chat shenanigans going on, and I haven't been streaming. Well, I have been streaming. Am I streaming? Apologies for that. It looks like we're having some stream issues. I was never told that the stream had ended, but the stream had ended as Barry Kruger is into the pit lane for the intermediate tyres and a front ring change. 50 spinning out there. If you didn't get to see it, why didn't no one tell me? Uh, Yeah, I'm broadcasting once again. Apparently the last lap you saw was lap 13. Well, it's getting wet in Silverstone for Ero Ps F4 Silverstone Grand Prix. Ruminek staying out on the hard compound of tyres, whereas Crackshot and Barry Kruger decided to pit. Was unsure which strategy was going to work, but the rain is coming down now. It looks like intermediate tyres are about to be the way forward. As Jack sends it on Gary, making contact. There's nearly a spin. I'm not sure if that could be reported. There's chaos here. Crackshot seizing the opportunity on the hard tyres, going around the outside of Gary. As Ruminek comes out on the soft compound of tyres. He's actually decided not to pit for Inters. That may have been a mistake from the engineer. Crackshot going for a dive on Jack. Ruminek also getting very feisty indeed. The strategy has worked out for Ruminek either way, but with Barry on the intermediates, this is something to look out for. When it gets wet, it will get very, very wet. Ruminek already making the move on Crackshot, and nothing Crackshot can do on old hards compared to new softs. Just making sure, is the stream still going? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure if the stream is still going. I've watched the entire race anyway, so let's just, I'll full video it. It's been a good one to watch. Ruminek going for it, removing Maggers and Beckett's, that's never going to work. Jack Bailey is wise enough for the challenge. Ruminek taps Jack. That could be a report. Ruminek unsettling Jack's car. It's going to make this overtake very easy. Ennis gets a time penalty, 3 seconds to his name. Let's turn on the tyres here. There was also an incident earlier on where Barry Kruger spun around Fabrizio Troncoso. Crackshot into the pit lane, so is Jack. I was saying it down in time. No, Jack Bailey speeding into the pit lane. May have been a tap from Crackshot behind, but unfortunately that's going to be a 5-second penalty added to Jack Bailey's time. Everyone's pitting. What tyre am I pitting for? I don't know. Jack wants one of the drivers to stay out. Same for Gary. Is Jack coming onto the softs or the inters? It's the inters for Jack. He's going bold. Everyone is going bold. This has been a fantastic Grand Prix. 17 drivers. Crackshot onto the inters. Loads of people all around. Ruminek straight into the lead of this race. However, he has 4 laps for things to not go wrong, but he may have to pit once again. It's not looking great in Silverstone. It's looking very wet. Ruminek sensitive on the throttle. Barry Kruger, it's worth noting, pitted very early for the Inters, and he hasn't been able to overtake any of these drivers. So I do think some of these strategy calls were wise. I don't know if you can hear this stream. If you can't, I apologise if you can. Whew! Thank the Lord. Van Kruger making a move on Lee Webb for P12. There's carnage everywhere. Let's get the interval lap times back up. Jack Bailey, Crackshot and Boyman. I just had a microphone go a little bit weird. But Jack Bailey looking for a move on Boyman. Going for a dive into Stowe or Cops. That's never going to work. Thankfully, no hardship happened. Lee Webb getting a switchback on Barry Kruger. Looks like there's chaos everywhere. Adrian Goricki going a little bit wide. Jack Bailey sniffing the opportunity to overtake Boyman. Real DC, oh no, Mark Sinagel, my apologies, into the pit lane. Real DC staying out. Jack is going to make the move on Boyman for P7. Ruminek refusing to pit. Adrian Goricki going wide in Beckett's very unsafe rejoin. And there's Boyman being overtaken by a Crackshot now. Boyman may have damage because he's really, really slow and he's into conditions. Sinagel is coming out in what possibly is a P5. I think Sully might just beat him. Is he going to come in front of this train? No, I don't think so, unfortunately. So it's going to be P9 for Mark Sinagel. But there's still 3 laps after this race, and Raminsky and DC are playing it very, very bold. Same for Kiziak and James Sully. I really don't know who is going to finish where. Ruminek has a big gap of 14 seconds rather, to the fastest intermediate conditions driver. Fiftio going wide. Losing control of the car. It's looking treacherous out there. Ruminek. It's not looking great. It's Barry Kruger picks up a 3-second time penalty for himself. All of these penalties are 3-second time penalties, apart from Jack Bailey with a 5-second time penalty. Is there maybe a little bit more there? Oh no, Fiftio as well has a 5-second time penalty. This race is getting chaotic with only 4 laps left of the Grand Prix. And Ruminek crawling around the circuit. It is going to be tight between him and Ennis, but I feel like Ennis may have a potential victory even with the 3-second time penalty here. He just needs the track to get a little bit worse for wear. And Sully losing ground to Jack Bailey. It's clear which tyre is the best tyre currently. DC on the mediums is going to lose grip. As a harder compound, there is less grip, which automatically means that he's going to be struggling a lot more in the dries than Ruminek. There's people pitting. It's James Sully's pitting from the mediums onto the inters. He didn't trust the strategy. Ruminek and DC are sticking with it though. The gap is now 13 seconds. Fiftio spinning once again on those soft tyres. It is chaos everywhere around this field. And Aston Martin looking to do quite well even without the second driver advantage. Mr. Golden Flame wasn't needed. Boyman with a 3-second time penalty now. I believe that takes his total up to 6. Yes, it does. It's 13 seconds between Ruminek and Ennis with 2.5 laps to go. You can see the gap. Ruminek leaves Max and Beckett as Ennis enters. And Ennis is catching up to DC quite quickly. There's a spinner, and it's Kiziak losing the car in Woodcote. Not the usual place to lose a car. That is just a sign of how bad the grip is now. And Ruminek, he could pit and still get a podium, but he chooses not to. He doesn't trust it. He really wants to go with his gut with this strategy, but I fear the worst of him. I think the strategy maybe hasn't worked out. DC into the pit lane. He clearly thinks the mediums aren't going to last. And with 2 laps to go, I think this victory maybe Ennis is for the taking. He does have a 3-second gap though, so it's going to have to be 14.5 seconds. The gap he builds up to Ruminek. Ruminek is crawling around this track though. The inters are only 3 seconds slower than the dries in a dry track, but in the wet track it's a completely different ball game. And this final lap is going to be awful for Ruminek. If he thinks it's bad already, just wait. And yeah, he's crawling around this circuit. P1 may not be up for grabs any longer. He's going to have to defend with his life when Ennis reaches up to him as well. Maybe force Ennis into a mistake, although that would be illegal. So maybe don't do that. But he's losing a lot of time, and it's only going to get worse here. Ruminek should have pitted for the intermediate tyres when he had the chance. It would have worked out perfectly for him. He had the perfect strategy. It just hasn't come to fruition. Everyone with a time penalty, I believe Jack Bailey. Is that 5 second penalty is going to put him behind Crackshot unless he can build a little bit of a gap. Or Crackshot gets another time penalty. The gap is now 7.5 seconds with Ruminek and Ennis. Well, 10.5 technically. Can Ennis gain 10 seconds in the final lap of the British Grand Prix? It's Inter's feed rise in the wet conditions. This is going to be tight. If you're enjoying this video, like it, subscribe to the channel, click the link in the description below and you can be involved in great races like this one. This has been a barn burner. Can Ruminek keep the car on track? It's been a very, very composed drive from him. He went bold on the strategy, but he's not been bold on the driving. He's been steady, and it's got him very, very far so far. But this is going to be tight, and with the track getting wetter and wetter and wetter, the only thing he can do now is pray. He will slow Ennis down at some point, but he's spun. He's lost the car. He's lost the car. Ruminek has lost the car, and he's out of the lead as Ennis comes through to take P1, and shortly Ennis has got this victory under control now, unless he loses the car himself. Ruminek is going to be kicking himself. If only he pitted onto the intermediates, he may have been 15 seconds ahead of this pack, but Ennis somehow out of nowhere starting P17 on the grid. Oh no, P16 rather. No, P14 actually. He was last on track from a lot of this race. Didn't take part in qualifying. And now look where he's going to be. P1 Ruminek. Just not able to catch up. He may be able to keep P3 from Jack Bailey or Crackshot, but P1 unfortunately has escaped him. But you know, this goes to show just how competitive this tier is, and Ruminek with this bold strategy, it so nearly worked out. It won't be, and that's really unfortunate. But this has been a cracking race to commentate, a cracking race to watch. Any guy in the comments section, Ruminek. I know it's more interesting watching Ruminek right now than Ennis. Having to control this car, it's a nightmare to control. He's got only 2 more corners to go, but Ennis is going to come through the final corner to take his second win of Ero Ps F4 in his home Grand Prix, barring Albania, of course. Ruminek coming across club to take a P2, but it could have been so much more, and I think you know it. Jack Bailey coming across the line P3, but Crackshot is going to take the final podium position. Boyman P6 after getting a 6-second time penalty. Max Nagel finding his way into P5. DC coming across the line P7, but gets beaten by Lee Webb because of a time penalty. It's so minor. Bagkruger P9 with Adrian Gorecki P10 rounding out the points paying positions. Fabrizio Troncoso just not able to get across. It's great, but this has been an immense race. James Sully coming across the line P12. Kiziak getting closer and closer to finishing P13. It's a disappointing result, a disappointing weekend for him. And then Black Horse and Fitchio quite a margin behind. But for Ennis, that is his second win of the season. I'm not entirely sure who got fastest lap. I believe it was DC. Let me check. Where is it? Yep, DC with the fastest lap, so that's going to be 5 points for him. Pole position. No, 6, because pole position also went to DC. Really, really good stuff from the group. But yeah, Ruminek, that's going to be the story of the day. He was the entire race. Ruminek looked like he was in control, and then he pitted for the softs instead of the inters, and it was so close. But wow, that was a good race. Going to ask Crackshot. And Ruminski for interviews. Ruminski can do the interview, so that's going to be great. Ruminski and Ennis in the party. You just know there's going to be fireworks there. Not from insulting each other. Obviously, that's not what I meant. But these guys are tired. That was tiring for me, and it was going to It was almost certainly tiring for them. When I asked the F5 guys if they wanted to race an F4, I got the same response. I'm tired. People were stressed, and you can understand why with a performance like that. So Ero Ennis get in the party, and it's going to be I Captain. No, I Ruminski. Where are you, Ruminek? There you are, baby. Let's talk about you and me. We got 5 people watching. I have recorded the entire race, so the stream won't have the interviews. My apologies, but this has been Ero Ps F4 in Silverstone. This has been an amazing Grand Prix to watch, and I assume an amazing Grand Prix to race. Sin, I've been your host, Liam Cross, as always, and thank you for watching this video. But back onto the interviews. The stream isn't actually over Ennis. I was just rounding off the pre-recording.
That's all right.
Ennis, wow, wow, wow.
Oh my god, huh?
Oh my god. It
Jesus.
was looking tight, and if I want to look, I want to see the results of the race. Ruminek 6 seconds behind. I think if Ruminek hadn't have spun, it would have been tight. I don't know. Ruminek, you just joined the party for interviews as well. Commiserations, Ruminski. Um, but thank you for that race. That was a cracking race, a race of the season. That was so good from both of you. So thank you for putting on a show.
No worries.
I'm going to start with you, Ennis.
Yep.
Obviously, you went long knowing there was rain at the end of the race, as I think 7 of you did. Did you think that a victory was actually on the cards or a podium? Or was it something that all of a sudden you were just in the top position and thought, wow, what do I do?
That's a good question. Starting last, I think I was second to last. Going through the race, top 8, top 7 is alright. But then I realised everyone boxed. So they started on medium, so I was quite okay. Good positions are, they can happen. And I was like the only one on inters for a while, so I was like, okay, hold on, we can get this. And I saw Ruminek go on softs, and I was like, hold on a minute, we might have this. And well, I saw him go off the track, and I can't complain, to be honest. Obviously, I feel bad, but that's just the GG. That was a really good race, a good birthday present as well.
Oh yeah, happy birthday. I've already said happy
Thank you.
birthday, but
Yeah.
happy birthday again. Are you here, Ruminski?
Mm, of course.
Beautiful commiserations. That was a it was a fantastic race, and until the final lap, it really did look like your strategy gambles had paid off. I just want to ask one thing about pitting onto the softs. Did you mean to pit onto the soft tyre?
My plan A was to wait for the rain and just to pit for inters, but my engineer told me that it will be light rain, and I just thought that softs will be the fastest tire at the moment for the rest of the race, but then it was raining more and more, so the inters had an advantage. So I was just starting on the softs like for the last 3 or 4 laps, so it happens.
Yeah, I was on board with you the entire way, and it was looking more and more treacherous and difficult to drive. You were keeping it on track like a champion until until I can't remember what corner it was, village. It just all went wrong. But yeah, that was a great race. Even when you were on the hards, if the rain hadn't have come out, you still would have been fighting for a win with going as long as you did on the softs, which I find amazing. Your pace today was really good, Rominski, and it's been really good for half the season now. I mean, I'm trying to see where you are. You're P3 in the standings currently, um, and you've already got 4 podiums. You started off the season with only 1 point in the first 3 races, and then since then, P3, P3, P1, P5, and then now a um, another P2. How are you feeling about this championship now? Because you've stated your claim to being one of the best guys in the tier, and today really cemented that.
To be honest, I don't even expected that I will be in the top three. But when I compare it for the last season, I would be happy when I will finish consistently in the top 10. But I will just try my best to win the championship. But I think that if it will be not rainy for the last, what was the 6 laps, I think.
6, yeah.
Yeah, so I think I will be just pit for the mediums. I know that I had a good pace here, and I could keep with, it was, I think, Crackshot and Barry Kruger, yeah, that been on mediums, and I could keep going with them on my hearts. So, yeah, I think the strategy just didn't pay off, so
Yeah,
happens.
well, I just want to say, Ruminski, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I'm looking at the standings now, and you are joint first. And on count back, Mr. Golden Flame has a couple more second places than you, but you are in the championship fight. There was no denying it now. You are one to watch. So congratulations, Ennis. You're P6 with that win.
I'll take it.
Yeah, you're only 22 points off of first. So
Okay, not
we've
bad.
got 6 drivers within 22 points of each other halfway through the season. This championship really could be anyone's. Because Morgonius isn't here, but he can do a job. Real DC obviously has potential. Same for Roger Well. This is this is looking really good. This is a really exciting championship, and I am honoured to commentate it because I was dreading this race coming into it. I was tired, but the final few laps really woke me up, and I won't be able to sleep for another 10 hours. I don't think I have energy in me, and I can only imagine the energy you have in you after just how tense that race was. um, I guess moving on now. The next race in a week's time is going to be at Belgium. And I do this with all of my interviews, starting with you, Ennis. How do you feel about Belgium as a circuit, and what's your expectation going in? Oh, if you can race, of course.
Yeah, at first I don't think I'll be able to race, but if, let's say, if I would be, it's a really good track. I really like it. Lots of room for error for others. But, longest track, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's an iconic circuit. I really like it.
I'm guessing because of Ramadan and the fact that you could only race today because it was a sprint, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I had to retire from the sprint today because I had to go eat dinner.
Yeah, I thought so. So okay, fair enough then. Um, so we will see you in Hungary in a month's time, and
Guess so.
then yeah, Raminsky, what are your thoughts about Belgium? Is it a track you enjoy? Is it a track you're, excited for? And do you think you'll be driving well there?
This is one of my favorite tracks since like 5 years, so I will enjoy this race. But I'm just waiting for the Imola Grand Prix. This will be my race.
Oh,
Belgium is just like a race. But I like to race there. But I will just wait for the Imola Grand Prix.
okay. Well, that is probably terrifying for everyone else to hear because you've been doing so well recently, and your best is yet to come. That is worrying.
I hope so.
But thank you both for joining the interviews, and thank you for everyone at home who, I say everyone at home, probably we could fill one household with the amount of people that watched today. Considering I didn't know that the stream wasn't even on for half the race. No one told me, which really annoys me. I was talking to myself. But this has been Ero Ps F4 in Silverstone. It's been a cracking race, one of the best I've ever commentated, maybe the best. I've been your host as always, Liam Cross, and if you enjoyed this race, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and clicking the link in the description below. Check out the Discord. You get to talk to us, race with us, commentate with me. You never know. There's lots of possibilities. Um, if you want to see a bit more action, tomorrow at 5 p.m. we're going to have Ero Ps F4, followed at 7 p.m. with PC and PS F2, both racing. That is BST, British Summertime, of course. And then on Sunday, Ero PC F1, 4 p.m. BST, at the same track, Silverstone, followed by Ero PS F1 at 6 p.m. It's going to be a cracker. You don't want to miss it. I've been your host, as always, Liam Cross, and we are here with our race winner and our second place runner-up. It's been fantastic to commentate, and I hope and wish you all a fantastic day.